At 7 a.m., your stomach is empty, but your body's secrets are just getting started. Most people think eating once a day is a shortcut to superhuman health, rapid fat loss, or even a longer life. But what's really going on hour by hour when you only eat one meal a day?
Here's the catch. Your body's reaction isn't just about skipping breakfast or lunch. It's a total system reboot
Packed with surprises. And the most dramatic change of all doesn't happen when you eat, but in the long, quiet hours when you don't. So what's the real story behind one meal a day? And is it the health hack people say it is? Let's track what happens to your body, hour by hour, on OMAD, and why the truth isn't what you've been sold.
First, picture this. You finish dinner at 7 p.m., and the clock starts ticking.
By 10 p.m., your blood sugar has dropped, insulin is falling, and your body quietly shifts gears. Instead of running on food, you start dipping into your own energy reserves, breaking down glycogen, the sugar stored in your liver and muscles. Here's what most people miss. This isn't some magic fat-burning mode. It's your body's way of making sure you don't crash in the night. By midnight, you're deep in a fasting state. Your brain is still hungry for glucose, but your liver stores only last about 12 hours. So by dawn, your body is forced to improvise. Here's where it gets interesting. Your body starts converting fat into ketones, an emergency fuel for your brain. But the weird part? You're not feeling superhuman yet. Most people wake up groggy, hungry, or even irritable on their first day of OMAD. That's because your hormones are still catching up. Cortisol, your stress hormone, spikes to help you wake up, but it also ramps up hunger. By mid-morning, you're running on fumes. Blood sugar is low, ketones rising, and your stomach is sending SOS signals. And here's the curveball. Your focus might actually improve, at least for a few hours. Short-term fasting triggers a mild stress response that sharpens alertness, like your body's ancient way of hunting for food. But that edge is fragile. By noon, your gut is getting restless. The hunger hormone ghrelin surges in waves, and it doesn't just make you hungry, it can mess with your mood. People on OMAD often report irritability, headaches, or hunger by early afternoon. The reason? Your gut and brain are in constant negotiation over energy, and now they're both running low. Here's what most diet gurus never mention. If you're stressed, sleep-deprived, or genetically prone to anxiety, this can hit even harder. Meanwhile, your body is digging deeper into fat stores for energy. This is the part of OMAD that gets hyped. Fat burning, autophagy, and maybe even longer life. But here's the twist. Autophagy, the famous cell cleaning process, ramps up with fasting, but only if you're really not eating. One meal a day might trigger it, but the science isn't crystal clear. Most studies are in mice, not people. Plus, autophagy isn't always a good thing. Too much can be harmful, like cleaning out parts your body still needs. By late afternoon, you're in the home stretch, but now your body's getting clever. Your metabolism slows to conserve energy, and your body temperature can dip slightly. That means you burn fewer calories the longer you go without eating. Not exactly the metabolic bonfire OMAD bloggers promise. Now, here's the crucial moment. It's almost time for your one meal. Your digestive system is on high alert, but it's a double-edged sword. When you finally eat, your stomach floods with acid, enzymes surge, and your intestines prep for a food avalanche. Here's the catch. A giant meal after 24 hours can hit like a freight train. Blood sugar peaks, insulin surges, and your body scrambles to store nutrients as fast as possible. Some people feel euphoric, a rush of satisfaction and energy. Others crash hard, food coma, bloating, or even nausea. That's your body's way of saying, whoa, too much too fast. And here's a hidden consequence. When you eat a massive meal, your gut has to work overtime. Digestive enzymes pump out at record speed, but if you overload the system, you can actually absorb fewer nutrients. That means, ironically, OMAD can make you less efficient at using the food you do eat. Here's another curveball. After a huge meal, blood is diverted to your digestive tract, leaving you sluggish. So if you try to work out or focus after eating, good luck. Now let's talk about what happens over weeks or months of OMAD. Some people lose weight, especially at first. But the real reason isn't magic. It's just fewer calories. You might find yourself eating less, simply because it's hard to binge enough in one meal. But here's a catch. Your body adapts. After a while, your hunger hormones recalibrate and weight loss can stall. And there's a risk nobody talks about: muscle loss. If you don't eat enough protein in that one meal, your body can break down muscle for energy. This is especially true if you're older, active, or dieting hard. And there's another hidden risk: binge eating and food obsession. Restricting eating windows can backfire psychologically, making you crave junk food or even lose control at mealtime. So is OMAD the ultimate health hack? It depends on your goals, your biology, and crucially, what you actually eat. If your one meal is a balanced spread of protein, fiber, healthy fats, and micronutrients, you might thrive. But if it's a giant pile of junk food, or you skimp on nutrients, you'll feel the consequences fast. And don't forget, long-term studies on OMAD in humans are still rare. Most of the hype is built on short-term results, animal studies, and wishful thinking. The real risk? Turning your diet into an experiment without knowing the outcome. So, if you're tempted by OMAD, ask yourself, is it sustainable for your body, your mind, and your life? Because the most overlooked secret isn't when you eat, it's whether your body can handle the stress day after day. So, what's the final verdict on eating once a day? Here's the truth. OMAD is a tool, not a miracle, not a curse. It can work for some, flop for others, and for most, the details matter more than the schedule. What matters most? Not the hour you eat, but the choices you make every day. So if you're chasing better health, look beyond the hype and listen to the signals your body is sending, hour by hour. And remember that curiosity we opened with. The most dramatic changes happen not when you eat, but in the silent hours in between, and your body is always adapting. Whether OMAD is your next breakthrough or just another fad, depends on how you play the long game. If you want to know what happens when you skip breakfast for a week and how that stacks up to OMAD, the next video breaks down the science behind morning fasting. But before you sprint to your nearest fridge, let's unravel a curiosity you probably didn't see coming. How does OMAD affect your gut bacteria? Your microbiome, that teeming metropolis of trillions of microbes, thrives on routine and diversity. When you eat just once, those bacteria face a feast or famine cycle. Some strains love fasting, others not so much. Studies show that long fasting windows can reduce certain types of gut bacteria, especially those that rely on a steady supply of fiber. The consequence? Less diversity, which can mean a less resilient gut, more digestive issues, and even changes to your immune system. But here's the twist. Other bacteria like Akkermansia might actually thrive with fasting and help protect your gut lining. So, OMAD could subtly shift your whole gut ecosystem, for better or worse. If you already struggle with IBS or sensitive digestion, this shift can mean more bloating, irregularity, or discomfort. Ironically, the very meal you look forward to trigger a digestive traffic jam if your gut isn't ready for the surge. Takeaway: OMAD's effects run deeper than calories or willpower. Your gut is always part of the equation. Curious about brain power? Here's an unexpected loop. OMAD can change the way your brain handles stress and decision-making. In the early fasted hours, your brain gets a jolt of norepinephrine, a chemical that sharpens focus, but also spikes anxiety. That's why people on OMAD sometimes report both laser-like concentration and moments of panic or overthinking. If you're prone to stress, OMAD can amplify it, making daily annoyances feel like 5 alarm fires. But here's the curiosity. Some studies suggest occasional fasting can actually boost resilience. Your brain gets better at handling discomfort. Still, the line between hormetic stress, the positive kind, and overload is razor thin. For some, OMAD is a mental cheat code. For others, it's just another brain fog day. Here's a curveball for athletes and gym rats. Can you build muscle on OMAD? Muscle growth needs 2 things: enough protein and frequent muscle protein synthesis. On OMAD, you get one shot at feeding your muscles. Miss the protein mark and repairs stall, no matter how hard you train. Even with a perfect meal, you'll only spike muscle growth once, compared to 2 or 3 times on a normal eating schedule. Surprise! Some pro athletes experiment with OMAD for discipline, but most stick to more frequent meals to maximize gains and recovery. If you're chasing muscle, OMAD is a high-wire act. Possible, but every meal matters more than ever. So, is OMAD a shortcut to health or a ticket to trouble? The answer, as always, is in the messy, fascinating details.